Every man reaches a moment when he realizes his greatest enemy is not the world, not circumstance, not fate. It is the mind he has allowed to rule him. A drifting mind filled with hesitation, ruled by moods, enslaved by habit. It begins in thought and ends in defeat. If you are tired of watching your days repeat without progress, if you have read and planned and promised, yet change nothing, this message is your line in the sand. For the next 3 hours, I will not merely speak to your ears. I will speak to your subconscious mind, the part of you that governs your habits, your emotions, your destiny, the part that has been programmed by fear, by failure, by repetition of doubt. And through these teachings, that program will be rewritten until you no longer think as a slave, but as a master. Understand this truth. Every result in your life is the shadow of your thinking. If you wish to change your life, you must change your mind. And if you wish to change your mind, you must first take control of what you permit to enter it. For years you have allowed outside voices to occupy your inner world, the voice of fear, of critics, of failure. You have fed the subconscious with weakness, and it has obeyed. Now you will feed it with strength, and it will obey again. What you are about to hear is not mere philosophy. It is the very law that shaped every man who rose from obscurity to greatness. Edison, Carnegie, Ford, Schwab, they mastered their minds before they mastered the world. They governed thought before they governed men. You have been living as a reflection of your past conditioning, but tonight that conditioning breaks. You will not think by reaction. You will think by design. For 3 hours, I will lead you through the same process I have taught to the powerful, how to think clearly, feel deeply, and act decisively. Each sentence you hear will strike the chords of your subconscious until its old song of doubt gives way to a new symphony of power. You will hear truths you already know, but this time they will not pass through the filter of logic. They will sink deeper into the part of you that decides what you believe, what you deserve, and what you dare to attempt. And when you awaken from this session, you will feel it. That quiet surge of conviction that no obstacle can break. That stillness in the heart that says, I am in control now. Think of this night as a turning point. Up to this moment, your thoughts have been your masters. After this, they will become your servants. The mind is clay, but only the disciplined man molds it. The weak man lets it harden in the shape of fear. The strong man shapes it daily with thought, faith, and repetition. This is what you will do tonight. You will stop feeding your mind with the language of limitation. You will stop repeating the excuses that keep you small. You will stop waiting for motivation and begin obeying your own commands. As you listen, I want you to remember this law. Thoughts mixed with emotion and faith become reality. That is not poetry, it is law. The man who repeats weakness with emotion becomes weak. The man who repeats strength with faith becomes unstoppable. And this is why these next 3 hours will change you. Because you are no longer listening for entertainment. You are listening as a creator listens to the blueprint of his new self. You may feel resistance. That is the old mind fighting for survival. Let it fight. Let it die. You are building a new mental structure, one that will not bend to fear. You have spent years rehearsing doubt. Tonight you will rehearse power. Every principle I speak will become an impression on your subconscious that you are the master of your fate, not its victim. That desire is holy when it is definite. That faith is power when it is acted upon. That persistence is genius wearing work clothes. That defeat is never permanent unless you accept it. And as these truths repeat, they will replace hesitation with momentum. You will not need to believe them consciously. The subconscious will accept them as law. For the subconscious cannot tell the difference between truth and repetition. It only obeys what it hears most. And you are about to give it a new ruler, yourself. As you listen, let the words carry you beyond the noise of self-doubt. Let each phrase carve a new groove in your thought pattern, a new pathway of certainty, a new rhythm of belief. When the conscious mind drifts to sleep, the subconscious awakens. It works in silence, shaping tomorrow's actions, attracting tomorrow's opportunities, commanding tomorrow's outcomes. While you rest, it will rewrite your inner world until power feels natural and doubt feels foreign. Tomorrow you will not need to convince yourself that you have changed. You will feel it. You will speak differently. You will walk with assurance. You will decide with speed. You will radiate confidence that others will feel before you speak a word. This is how transformation occurs, not through effort, but through the repetition of right thought. For 3 hours, let these words be your only environment. Forget the failures of the past. Forget the opinions of the crowd. Forget everything except this truth. You are what you repeatedly think. And as you think now, so shall you become. Say it quietly to yourself. I am no longer a creature of fear. I am a creator of faith. I am no longer a slave of circumstance. I am the master of cause. Feel that statement in your chest. That feeling is power. That feeling is law in motion. Keep listening until it no longer feels like hope, but certainty. Keep listening until you no longer need courage, because doubt no longer exists. Keep listening until you feel unstoppable, because that is the natural state of a man who thinks rightly. The power that created worlds is waiting to be commanded by your thought. These 3 hours are your rehearsal for mastery. Fall into the rhythm and let your mind be cleansed of weakness. Let faith take the throne. Let definiteness rule. Because the world obeys only the mind that has first mastered itself, and after these 3 hours, that mind will be yours. Every man is either the master or the servant of his own mind. There is no neutrality in this law. The mind left ungoverned becomes a tyrant, shaping one's life through accident and fear. But when ruled by definiteness of purpose, it becomes the greatest builder known to man. Every fortune, every invention, every act of greatness began as a thought disciplined into obedience. Look closely at your life, and you will see the condition of your mind reflected in it. Chaos within creates chaos without. Indecision within breeds confusion in the outer world. Thought is the root of circumstance. You cannot live above your thinking any more than you can harvest wheat from thorn. Whatever occupies your mental soil will grow, silently, surely, without fail. Drifting is the default of the undisciplined mind. It begins quietly, disguised as rest. You permit one thought of hesitation, and it multiplies. You postpone one decision, and soon postponement becomes a habit. The drifting mind is like an unlocked gate, and anything may enter. Fear, gossip, resentment, envy, each finds shelter there. And before long, these tenants rule the house meant for faith. The man who controls his mind is rare, but he is the only kind of man who truly lives. He does not allow moods to dictate action. He does not bend to the opinions of others. He thinks, decides, and acts from a center of order. To others, he appears calm, steady, confident. But this composure is not accident. It is the natural expression of self-command. The law of mental tendency states that every thought allowed into the mind seeks permanence. If you invite fear, it will not visit. It will move in. If you permit doubt, it will not whisper. It will preach. Every thought seeks to become its environment. Therefore, guard the mind as you would a sacred temple. Admit only those thoughts that serve your definite purpose, and deny entrance to all others. Andrew Carnegie mastered this law. He did not wait for the world to change before he thought greatly. He thought greatly and made the world obey. In his youth, he lived in poverty, but he never permitted his mind to dwell there. He believed that organized thought could command any condition, and time proved him right. His steel empire was not born in furnaces. It was born in focus. Carnegie once said that a man's wealth begins in his mind long before it appears in his hand. He meant that riches are the reflection of mental organization. Opportunity comes to all men, but it stays only with those whose thoughts are definite enough to recognize and seize it. The drifting mind never sees opportunity clearly because it is always fogged with hesitation. The world obeys the mind that knows what it wants. The magnet of definiteness draws all needed resources to its owner. People sense confidence even before a word is spoken. They trust the man whose thought is ordered because order is strength. It is not speech that persuades, it is conviction. Those who think with clarity radiate authority that others feel in silence. You may have wondered why some men rise quickly while others remain in mediocrity despite equal intelligence. The difference lies not in talent, but in mental dominion. The successful man spends his hours thinking deliberately. The unsuccessful man spends them reacting. The first chooses thoughts as carefully as words in a contract. The second lets thought choose him. 1 hour of deliberate thinking is worth years of random wishing. The man who learns to direct his thought with precision saves decades of wandering. He does not wait for life to decide for him. He decides for life. Every definite thought you hold becomes a command to the universe. Every command repeated with belief becomes fact. Let me tell you this, your thoughts are not private. They are vibrations sent into the ether, drawing their kind. The fearful man attracts fear. The doubter attracts failure. The decisive man attracts opportunity. Each mind is a broadcasting station, and life tunes to the frequency it emits. If you broadcast confusion, confusion returns. If you broadcast order, the world aligns to your purpose. Therefore, begin your mastery by cleansing the mind of mental clutter. Spend 1 full day refusing to dwell on a single negative thought. Each time fear or complaint arises, replace it with the image of your definite aim. This exercise will feel like battle, and it is. You are reclaiming the throne of your own consciousness. Mental dominion begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not observe. Watch your thought patterns as a guardian watches the gate. When you catch yourself thinking of defeat, ask, who permitted this intruder? Then cast it out and replace it with faith. Every time you do this, you strengthen the muscle of control. Self-command is the highest form of freedom. The man who rules himself is unconquerable, for he cannot be manipulated by flattery, fear, or doubt. His emotions obey his reason, and his reason obeys his purpose. To others he appears immovable, but within he moves constantly toward his goal. His composure is the visible sign of invisible discipline. The first step to mental mastery is definiteness of purpose. You cannot control thought that wanders without